Hey guys, I want to jump into a tier list today. ADHD tier list based on research, based on what has worked for me, based on what I've seen online, and yeah, what are the most effective strategies and medication or non-medication or natural ways to go about managing your ADHD. Okay, so let's get started. First, no sugar. I know this one is contradictory. On some people say sugar is good, some people say it's bad. Um, but I definitely think for myself, I could speak that sugar definitely affects my ADHD because I get a lot more crashes. So when I quit sugar, for example, my crashes are less, and I feel like it's very hard, especially if you have problems with procrastination, and especially if you have problems with procrastination. You'll sugar, if it crashes you, when you're in a crash, it becomes even harder to pull out of it. So I feel like quitting sugar to reduce the amount of crashes that you get throughout the day is really beneficial. So I would put this one definitely in S tier. Um, okay, optimizing day. That's some people speak about this, but I don't think enough people speak about this when it comes to ADHD. But there's like times in the day that I feel like people are everybody's effective. Now for everyone it's different. It could be at nighttime, it could be in the morning for you. I don't know what it is. For example, for me, when I wake up in the morning, I don't do anything besides work. I would never go to the gym. I would never do anything besides work because I have a window of like an hour to where I'm fully focused, and it's early in the morning, about 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. depending when I wake up. I'm like super energized. I just go right away and start cranking work. I don't do anything else but that. So find that time of day where it works for you and you're just like killing it. So I would say that's definitely S tier. It's really, really powerful once you figure that out. Vitamin cocktails. Those are like, I pulled out here like vitamin cocktails for ADHD. There's a lot of things like, Huberman, that guy, like talks about this. Like, I don't know. I tried them. I don't feel anything. Um, so it's really hit or miss, up in the air. So I don't know exactly if this is great or not. I didn't feel it. Some people, I read some papers that say that certain things. I think I read a paper a long time ago, like zinc, magnesium, vitamin D, things like that. I've heard that like could improve focus, but again, I didn't feel it personally, so I wouldn't put it in like S tier. I would say that's more like B tier, but some of you might say something else. I don't know. Maybe it worked for you in a really big way. I say B tier because hey, it doesn't fucking hurt. Just do it. Personally, it's a lot of money, so like sometimes I just like don't bother with this. So definitely deserves a B tier. Environment. This is probably S plus plus tier. Hear me out. So if I feel like people with ADHD don't do well with stress, because that stress makes you panic, and then it starts triggering all those negative things that are like ADHD behaviors, like you know, doing something brash or impulsive, or um, you know, getting angry at someone, or so fixing your environment, m- meaning like I think Stoics do a good job at this. They tell you to meditate about your fears, so meditate about the worst case scenario. So if you meditate about the worst case scenario, you reduce um, your that time when it comes, that negative effect happens to you, it won't hurt you as much. So for example, meditate about your business going wrong, so that if something, or get detailed about what that wrong is, right? And go into as much detail as possible about every scenario, so when that scenario happens, you don't completely crash and then start doing something impulsive, or making a mistake, or start getting. I feel like people with ADHD have more anger issues. All those things start to pop up. So make sure your environment is really, really like solid, and that means like mental environment. Like no, like whatever stressors come, you'll know how to handle it properly. So I think fixed environment definitely S. If there was an S plus plus, I'll put it over there. Tasks lists, yeah, everyone knows about this. There's lots of videos on that. yeah, have a to-do list like Pomodoro, you know, those kinds of things definitely helpful. Everyone should do this regardless whether you have ADHD or not. So I'll put it as a, you know, A tier. Yeah, I would definitely put it here. Accountability, that's a really big one, especially for you big procrastinators out there that don't have discipline. Like with money, cash accountability is fucking king. If you don't do cash accountability, you're just forget it. It's not gonna work. So the way I did it, the way I stuck to the gym for 6 months, man, I couldn't do a lot of things. Like sticking to things of like it's been a lifelong dream. Like how do I stick to the gym for 6 months or a year, or how do I stick to habits without failing? And accountability with cash is king. So the way it works is you tell a friend, I'll give you $500 if I don't send you a video every day that of me working out. Um, and you have to have someone who's committed to you, who's going to take your money, so you're afraid to miss. You don't have to do it $500. I did $500 because I wanted the punishment to be so fucking scary that I would not fuck up. Like period. So you could do $30, $20, whatever you want. But once you put that accountability, you get an accountability buddy, and then you won't fail. You don't want to fail because you're going to lose a lot of money on the line. So I say this is again S plus plus tier. Yeah, definitely S plus plus tier. Um, okay, Ritalin. It's not as bad as Adderall. It's a very, for those of you already doing it, it could be like doing it, and I've done it for many years and didn't get effective negatively. It's okay. I would put it maybe in C or B tier because it's still damaging for your health long term. So like it's like okay, how long do you guys plan to do this, right? So yeah, it's not as bad as Adderall, but it's still habit forming. It's still psychologically habit forming. It still harms your body. It's an amphetamine. It's not something that I think most people recommend to do for 40 years. So yeah, I would definitely put this in D tier. Again, not as bad as Adderall, so I wouldn't, you know, yeah, and again, it's pretty much. I think Ritalin and Adderall are both F tier if you never tried it before, and Ritalin and Adderall should be your last resort where you tried everything and you need like 2 3 years to do some big project or whatever. But again, you have ADHD. There's a lot of research on this. A lot of you guys have addictive personalities. Again, it fucked up my life, so you got to be very, very careful with that. So, but Ritalin is a step up from Adderall for sure. Therapy. I have to put in E tier. Um, the reason for this is yes, some therapy could be S tier, but it's like finding. I know it's controversial. Like I will say, like yeah, D tier therapy because it's such a hit or miss. Not all therapists. It's not like you put $1 and you get back, you know, a can of Coke every time. You like you don't know where it's gonna go. So that's a really big problem. Um, I would say definitely D tier, but again, you could get lucky and then you it jumps to S tier. What's another one? Yeah, so quitting drugs. That's a really really big one. I would say very much so S plus plus tier. Again, this is from talking to people with ADHD. This is from my experience. Like when you quit drugs, it's amazing what happens to you because like it teaches you how to handle pain, so you're less likely to disassociate. It somehow magically improves your ADHD over time. Again, don't ask me how to explain it. I'm not a doctor, but I could tell you for sure that like the biggest impact on being able to manage my ADHD was when I quit completely all drugs and alcohol, like zero. You know, being fully focused, learning how to handle the pains and the discomforts and all that stuff, uh, you know, of life, right? Um, Trataka yoga, yeah, that's a really big one. Definitely, um, a, mm, yeah, definitely S tier. That's like it's a yoga meditation practice where you learn how to focus. So you put a light or you put something and you just focus on it without blinking. It helps you improve your focus. Way way better than meditation in my opinion. I tried meditation. Meditation does makes a difference, but not as big as that for sure. It helps you learn how to focus. Talking about meditation, yeah, that's a big one. I think it's for me. It was mostly helpful for like learning how to manage like anger and yeah, just but it's I wouldn't put it as S tier. Thesis, you guys heard about this? They have ads everywhere, like all the thesis and nootropic like category. Again, it's like for me, it's like vitamins. I don't know if you guys like. Let me know in the comments below if you guys had any success with that. But like, it just feels like it's placebo at best. I don't know. It doesn't feel like, oh wow, you're taking and you're like getting right away benefits. So I would say yeah, B or probably like yeah, B tier. Same as vitamins. Adderall, fuck, F tier, big time. Again, I know you guys, some of you in the comments are gonna be like, oh, it's life changing for me or whatever, but it's like, look at the drug addictions that we have. Like 116,000 people in 2012 alone admitted themselves to rehab due to Adderall addictions. Again, these are people with ADHD. You're higher likelihood to be addicted. So it's a Russian roulette that you're running taking Adderall. It's really fucking intense. Again, meth heads take Adderall if they don't have meth. Like think about that for a second. And so it's a very powerful drug. It's one molecule away from meth. You're basically taking synthetic meth. So again, it's risky. In some cases, some of you will want to do it maybe for a few years and then you get out of it. But like long term, I mean, this is a big F tier for me. Diet, definitely A tier. Um, and then you'll actually, what am I saying? Probably S tier. Yeah, good diet makes a difference. It just doesn't make a big difference. Like it, yeah, I would say balance. Yeah, so A tier. A tier is, but it definitely makes a difference in your health. I mean, help you sleep better and all that stuff. So definitely exercise as well. I'll put it in A tier because I don't work out anymore as much since I quit Adderall, but I'm still managing my ADHD a lot better. It's not like mandatory. I feel like those things are mandatory, like quitting drugs, Tarakata yoga, accountability, fix your environment, optimizing your day, no sugar. Um, in the A tier, like some days you will do it, some days you won't, but you know, it's not mandatory in my opinion. So I'll put that. Okay, small, do small. This one is of course really. I'll put this one in an A tier, which is like okay, do small things. So when you're stuck, when you're like feeling like you're fully procrastinating, you're fucked. You can't do shit. You're just it's not happening. Do a tiny little task. So the whole divide and conquer, definitely A tier. Face fears. Again, this is actually it's kind of repetitive, but it's on the fix your environment uh, category, which is like yeah, you need to. I feel like for me, fears have been the biggest factor in messing up my day, in making me procrastinate, and making me impulsive because I'm really fucking impulsive. And to reduce my impulsivity is I face my fears or like that's the best way I've handled that, throughout the years. Is like I meditate on the fears, I meditate on what scares me, I face it before it happens so that when it happens, it's like, well, it's not that big of a deal. I actually know how to handle it. So, um, yeah, I think that's a really big one with people, especially with impulsive tendencies. I think that does a massive difference. So yeah, guys, let me know in the comments below if you agree with this tier list. Um, if yeah, what you think. And yeah, again, my goal is to help you manage your ADHD without Adderall and Ritalin. And I definitely think those things again for me have been massive. Let me know in the comments below. All right, guys, later.